Hi all, welcome to BRR Knowledge Center. Today's session will talk about rate limiting for Web API requests. So, what is rate limiting and what is the purpose and why do we need rate limiting on Web API requests? And what are all the benefits we have if we can implement this rate limiting for Web API? So, like if you are creating API using any language like .NET, Java, or Python, it can be used by many clients, right? So that is what the main purpose of creating and having it this API creation, right? So sometimes some of the clients consumes the API frequently, like no every time or every second or every minute. They wanted to frequently invoke your API for their requirement. So it all happens based on the requirement what the client is having it. So if sometimes if the client consumes the API frequently without any limit, sometimes it happens. But if you want to limit consuming the API for a particular client within a certain time, then you can achieve it by rate limiting. So some of the clients require to frequently invoke or consume our API. That's fine because of their requirement. But for some of the clients, which they don't require to frequently invoke the API, and if you wanted to restrict those clients, I think this rate limiting approach was a good approach, and you can achieve it by putting this rate limiting for your web API configurations. So rate limiting is the process of controlling the number of requests for a resource within a specific time window. So each unique user IP or IP address will have a limitation on the number of requests to an API endpoint. Okay, and if you look at the diagram of this API request, how it is happening it. If you look at here, these are my external APIs. So I think you people are already aware of, like, we have different kind of APIs can be developed, like internal APIs, external APIs, or partner APIs, etc., etc. So when you want, or when you wanted to create an API and expose to use or utilize by the client externally, then you will be having these kind of configurations takes place. And these are things are basically gives better performance and reliability of your APIs. So if you look at here, these are some of the external APIs. I have it here in this now dotted rectangle box here, and I configured kind of rate limiting here, and the clients can access my external APIs using mobile apps or web apps or partner apps, SaaS apps. So different things, different apps can consume my external APIs here. So I wanted to implement this rate limiting for SaaS kind of apps, so which basically invoke my API for the specific requirement, and then really don't require to invoke or consume API frequently. And I think for a couple of minutes or couple of seconds after they might have consume it. If that is the case, I wanted to put a restriction or configuration of rate limiting for this particular SaaS apps. It's almost basically looks at IP addresses or user credentials or something. Based on that, I'm going to put this particular stuff on that for that particular endpoints. And rest all of mobile apps or web apps or partner apps, they still can access my API without rate limiting. That's how I think I'm going to achieve this. I can put this limit API request for day or week or month, or in the day itself, hourly basis we can keep, or minutes basis or seconds basis, or 5 seconds 5 requests basis. Whatever way you want it, you can implement it. So rate limiting helps us to protect against malicious kind of attacks. For example, a hacker can use bots to make repeated requests to an API endpoint, so to make a chart for the between two parties. So due to the number of repeated requests, resulting in it will be service unavailable for the others. Sometimes it happens because when you make multiple hits on services having more number of hits, and sometimes it may send you the response saying that no, not available service right now. So this is called denial service of attack. So the rate limiting helps us from the denial of service or denial of bot attacks using this rate limiting. Another use of rate limiting is to regulate traffic to the API. So another use was so you can control the traffic for the API. So let me, I think, explain you about this practically, and I'm just going to open my API here, which have been implemented in .NET 6.0. So this is one of my API here, and I have a couple of endpoints here where I can get my locations and the save location and edit location, delete location. I have everything here with my mock data. I've been getting the stuff from my mock data, and then I'm populating the locations here. Let me run this and see like how it is working for no API response here. I'm just running .NET build. It's going to build my this application stuff here. Come here. I'm just removing another PowerShell prompts here. So .NET build, I'm just building my API here. So it builds, so no issues with that, succeeded my build. And then I'm going to run my API, then see like how it is invoking. I think it started, and this is what my address, it is coming up here. And I'm going here and I'm going to say locations here. And when I say send, then it is going to return my in output here with the locations. So whatever locations I have right now, all the locations being retrieved and shown here. And you hit any time a number of times, it won't limit or says anything. It will fetch the data. It's all about locally fetching it, locally calling, consuming. So I don't have any problem with that. But when I deploy it on somewhere in the cloud or an external world, so people may request that external world from that external world by putting more number of hits to the service. And by that time, I think we may have some problems that like denial of service attacks can be occurred. And also I think the traffic can be forcefully hitting to your API, which may cause unavailable of your service, or sometimes server unavailable. So right now I think I can get anything here. I don't have any restriction with this. Anytime any request I can get it here. I think I not implemented anything. Even I think I have a version supporting here 1.0 and 2.0. Still you can get that stuff also, like 1.0/locations, and then still you can get the response here with this. And even you can get the 2.0 where it is going to give you a 2.0 version specific response here. I think all the endpoints are hitting any time and number of times. Doesn't have any problem right now because we have not done any implementation of rate limiting here. Now go back to your stuff here, and I just wanted to implement rate limiting here. Clearly explain you that rate limiting is different and throttling is different. There are two terms we can have it in part of API development and API configurations. So request limiting, rate limiting is a kind of a server, basically client response, and it is going to manage the client request from the particular channel. Where it comes with throttling is purely its server side response. So we'll talk about throttling in next sessions, but right now I think I wanted to concentrate on this rate limiting approach here. And yeah, fine. So I'm going to stop my this running service. So cool. So how to implement rate limiting here? So to implement rate limiting, what you need to do is you need to add no kind of cache line of statements along with the singleton classes here. Basically, we require to add a memory cache, and then we need to configure that particular rate limiting configurations, like how much time you're keeping it for, how many number of requests. And then you need to add policies, and then you need to add some counter store, and then you need to add some processing strategy finally. So that entire stuff you need to add it in the program.cs file or startup.cs file here. Here I'm going to add it here. So here I'm going to add my this stuff, like so as I mentioned, like how much time and how many requests you're going to configure for the service as part of runtime. So here I'm going to specify that a couple of configurations. Before that, what you need to do is you need to install this ASP.NET Core rate limit namespace here. That is the namespace. You need to install it from the NuGet package manager. And once you install it, and then go to this place here, and you start adding of lines, as I mentioned, this builder dot, and I think better we go to the Visual Studio and see like how it would be, because it has IntelliSense facility here. Come here and here, builder dot services and add memory. This is what the first line of statement you need to add it. Add memory cache, and then next one is it's not well. Okay, no issues. And builder dot sorry, services dot configure. We need to configure the IP rate limit option. IP rate limit options of builder dot configuration dot get section. So this section we need to add in the obstacles.json. I'll let you know like how to add it. So IP rate limiting, this is the key. I'm adding it here, or I think better we add first that stuff and come back here. That way you have clarity, full awareness on that. So this is what my app settings. Here I think you need to add rate limiting stuff. I'm just adding here. I say like IP rate limiting colon, and here I'm adding a couple of statements like enable endpoint rate limiting. Making this true, and the stack block request. This also making as false. And next one is real IP header. This is where client IP is coming. This is assigning as x hyphen real hyphen IP. And then next one was client IP or client ID header. And this is again xstore hyphen client ID. And then next one was HTTP status code. This was, I think 429 was the correct one, and general rules. If this actually the main case you need to look at here, I think this is going to differentiate like what are all endpoints you wanted to include as part of rate limiting, and so on. What are not endpoints you wanted to exclude rate limiting. So for now, I'm specifying endpoint here. I think I can say get methods slash locations. For now I'm implementing this rate limiting for locations endpoint, and here I'm saying a period, how much time you are considering this. I think I'll say 5 seconds. Got it. And next one is the limit of request. I can say this is I think I'll say three requests. So what is this? something to do with missing a comma. Where? That's it. Comma, this comma, this comma. And I think it is expecting a bracket here. With that, I think you need to put this stuff. Okay, so this is adding of your settings here. IP rate limiting, the same section you need to use it here. IP rate limiting, and then next statement was builder dot service and add singleton class for policies. Add services dot add singleton of IP policy store. I think IP policy store was I think we'll check that policy store comma memory cache policy store. And next one is builder dot services dot add singleton of IP rate limit counter store. Rate limit counter store here. This is memory cache rate limit counter store. And builder dot services dot add singleton of IP or iRate limit configuration. iRate limit configuration. For this, I think we need to pass rate limit configuration. And the last one was builder dot services dot add singleton. What's happening? Builder dot services dot add singleton. Here, I processing strategy, comma processing async key log process strategy. And the last one was add in memory rate limiting. Builder dot services dot add in memory rate limiting. So these are the stuff we need to add. Add singleton class. Add singleton class. IP policy. IP policy store memory cache client policy. I think memory cache IP policy we need to add. I think that is fine. So once you did this, you just build the application. Then go back here. I think it automatically adds the stuff here. Whatever stuff you have added here, the complete stuff has been adding it. And where is that particular stuff was? Okay. And then you need to add this stuff. Use IP rate limiting and build the application. And just run this application. And you can see that how it is working. Copy this and open the Swagger. Just to go to locations. This is the endpoint we have mentioned in the configuration. Try it out, execute. Here I can see the response here, and in the response header, I think still we have not seen the stuff. Okay. Where did we that stuff was? I think we mentioned it for locations, right? Go back to code and the app settings.json. We have mentioned a get. I think let me check this. Locations. Okay. Let me try again. And get locations and try it out. No, still it is not coming. It is not considering these locations. So do we need to change anything here? Get locations. Any difference we have mentioned it here? I don't think so. We have it. Get and the locations. Let me try this again. So I think I missed general rules was missed, and build this and again run now. So when I run this now, it will open my Swagger UI here, and if I click on here and try it out and execute, and I got response back, and if I see here, oh, it's not coming. Why? General rules. Let me remove the space. I think these are all the general aspects. We must make sure that configuration keys should be proper. I think again clicking on this, try it out, execute. Yep, I see now. X-rate limit is 5 seconds and X-rate limit remaining 2, and this is what the reset date is going to publish here. When I again execute, then it is saying API calls quota exceeded maximum admitted 3, 4, 5 seconds. So retry after 2 seconds, and the server was castrol and transfer encoding was joint. So this is how we are, restricting this request from client, so that client will see this response and he understood that exceeded the quota with a specific web API, and then he will wait for some time, and then he will again request. So you can see here 429 code we are returning as HTTP status code. It means too many requests, and again you run it. Again you got the response. Now, if you wanted to apply for all endpoints, then how to make it? So just remove this get and put a star here, and you remove its locations also, because only get method of locations is having it. And you run now, and you can see here, so for all endpoints it is applying it's rate limiting. Earlier I think it only happens to locations get method, but right now it is going to applicable for everything. I'm going to execute this, try it out, version 1.0, and execute. Now I can see there's rate limit also coming in the response. And even if I click on here again, 2 times, 3 times, and 4 times, 5th time, I got an issue here, error message saying that API calls quota exceeded maximum admitted 3 equals 5. And after 3 seconds, I might have, I think, already crashed. And again, click on, again, I got response. And similar way, I think, go for another method here, location ID. and I already have this location, right? I'm just copying this ID, and here I'm pasting try it out, and this is the ID, and this is the 1.0 I'm giving it, and execute. I got this location because of I had this entry in the cache, and it returns. Again, you look at here, the response header has been added with rate limiting headers. If you click again 3 to 4 times, you get a similar message you will see here also. And it tells you that retry after 3 seconds. So this is how I think you need to mention the rate limit for all endpoints in the controller. And again, you try to, it will again come back and give you the response. So please make sure that you must give *:* so that it applies to all endpoints in your controller. And if you want specific to a controller or a get method, you need to mention get only for locations. Got it? So this is how you are going to implement rate limiting for your API request, and that way I think you will achieve a more performance for your API request, and you will achieve sometimes traffic can be regulated with this rate limiting, and you avoid huge traffic processing on your or traversing on your network. Okay, so this is all about implementing rate limit for a specific endpoint and all endpoint in the controller. So thanks for listening this video. Please subscribe this channel for more videos. Thank you.